Overview. Ever witness someone take down a manipulator without speaking or even moving a finger? In a time when emotional predators, bullies, and narcissists seem to be becoming more prevalent, there is a unique type of man who effectively and silently destroys evil. The male Sigma. Sigma men travel alone, in contrast to alpha males who dominate and beta males who follow the herd. They are self-sufficient, highly perceptive, and impervious to manipulation. Silent resistance, rather than confrontation, is their strength, and that silence is deafening to people who depend on commotion and control. We'll learn 9 subtle yet effective ways that Sigma guys eliminate poisonous, bad people in this video, along with why these covert strategies are significantly more successful than frontal combat. 1. They disavow authority, social rankings, and games people that are toxic are drawn to hierarchy. To feed their ego, they want to divide individuals, establish authority, and rank them. This game is not played by Sigma guys. They don't feel sorry for the weak or worship the strong. The CEO and the janitor are treated equally by a Sigma guy. Why? Because he does not see human value in terms of position. Those who use status as leverage are destabilized by this disregard for rank. They lose authority when their titles, connections, or exaggerated egos are unable to compel obedience. There are repercussions from the Sigma's failure to recognize these games. Others start to doubt the validity of the manipulator's power, which frequently causes the toxic person's social life to fall apart. 2. They erect barriers that deceivers cannot scale. Access is essential for manipulators. To identify your vulnerabilities, take advantage of your resources, and ensnare you in emotional turmoil, they must approach you closely. However, they are denied entry by Sigma males. For the Sigma, boundaries are sacred. He doesn't respond to texts that are filled with guilt, he doesn't play useless drama, and he doesn't feel pressured to keep up poisonous relationships. This emotional distance is self-preservation, not coldness. Male Sigmas can leave any setting without worry because they are accustomed to being alone. Their control mechanisms start to fail when manipulators are unable to entice them back with emotional baiting or embarrassment. Sigma males have a profound knowledge of emotional energy, which further strengthens their immunity. They are aware that all interactions and conversations are exchanges. They also treasure their energy. They stay grounded rather than succumbing to deceptive sob stories or crossing lines. They are a formidable barrier that manipulators cannot overcome because of their unrepentant no responses and their capacity to remain silent in the midst of pandemonium. Toxic people gradually realize they have no more ground as a result of this silent pushback. For the Sigma, boundaries are sacred. He doesn't respond to texts that are filled with guilt, he doesn't play useless drama, and he doesn't feel pressured to keep up poisonous relationships. This emotional distance is self-preservation, not coldness. Male Sigmas can leave any setting without worry because they are accustomed to being alone. Their control mechanisms start to fail when manipulators are unable to entice them back with emotional baiting or embarrassment. 3. They use cold precision to expose deceit. Misdirection is a breeding ground for manipulators. They conceal their true intentions behind emotional smokescreens, such as flattery, remorse, and sympathy. However, Sigma guys are human liars. They can read body language, detect inconsistencies, and pick up on micro-expressions thanks to their keen observational abilities. They see warning signs that most people miss. Additionally, they analyze the matter logically rather than emotionally. Even though a Sigma guy may not say much in a conversation, he will know exactly who he is speaking to when he leaves. When he does speak, it's a precise blow, one remark or query that completely destroys the manipulator's narrative. The combination of superior pattern recognition and emotional detachment is what makes Sigma males so effective. They monitor behavior over time rather than becoming engrossed in the drama or performance. The Sigma is taking mental notes while others are preoccupied with charm or showmanship. He keeps an eye out for recurring strategies, remembers subtleties that others overlook, and connects words to deeds. He is able to discern not only the falsehood but also the strategy behind it, thanks to this long-term view. And there is when manipulation breaks down. They can read body language, detect inconsistencies, and pick up on micro-expressions thanks to their keen observational abilities. They see warning signs that most people miss. Additionally, they analyze the matter logically rather than emotionally. Even though a Sigma guy may not say much in a conversation, he will know exactly who he is speaking to when he leaves. When he does speak, it's a precise blow, one remark or query that completely destroys the manipulator's narrative. 4. They use surgical precision to outmaneuver corruption. Sigma men remain silent and watch as others yell, complain, or leave. They collect proof. They link patterns, and when the time is right, they discreetly tear down the bases of corrupt power systems. Sigma men are aware that emotional outbursts frequently serve to reinforce the system they are attempting to expose. They thus map the whole landscape, who is in charge, what drives them, and where the fissures are, instead of responding hastily. Symbolic gestures are not a waste of their energy. They attack with greatest impact and the least amount of noise after waiting for the weak link to appear. Making headlines isn't the point. The goal is to bring about change. Additionally, their actions are irreversible. Don't act ostentatious. Just a change in power dynamics that no one anticipated until it was already completed. This is the Sigma male's real strength, purposeful disruption that prevents corrupt systems from recovering. A Sigma may gather evidence of abuse in a hazardous workplace and disseminate it in an anonymous manner. He may sow seeds of truth in social circles that eventually blossom into full-fledged epiphanies. He takes a methodical but sluggish approach. He gives manipulators nothing to cling on as he doesn't contribute to the drama. It's already too late when they realize their empire is falling apart. 5. They use emotional intelligence to gain a competitive edge. Buttons are pressed by manipulators. Because it gives them power, they try to incite rage, tears, or breakdowns. However, Sigma males don't care about emotions. They don't allow fleeting feelings to control long-term responses. Rather, they watch in silence as mayhem erupts all around them. That quiet? It makes manipulators uneasy. For manipulation is only effective when it elicits a predictable emotional reaction, and they don't get one from Sigma men. Because of this eerie silence, manipulators tend to overplay their hand. Until it's too late, they believe that remaining silent indicates weakness. Before delivering a well-thought-out, frequently devastating retort, Sigma men let their opponents fully disclose themselves. Discipline alone is not emotional control. It's a tactic. The Sigma male's emotional quiet during critical situations is what has the most impact and tips the balance of power in his favor. They watch rather than respond. The Sigma guy will react to a toxic person's scream or gaslighting with a raised eyebrow, a deadpan look, or simply silence. Manipulators are thrown into pandemonium by this emotional distance. "I removed my buttons so you can't push them," one Sigma once remarked. That's what makes them so strong. Control is impossible without emotional clout. 6. They have an impact without getting noticed. In boardrooms, you won't see a Sigma guy giving orders or making inspirational speeches. He has no need for accolades or recognition. Others, however, follow him instinctively. Why? Because the message is his life. He anchors people, not just inspires them, with his calm strength, integrity, and consistency. Sigma males stay grounded in tumultuous situations where others are frightened or hunched. Others are drawn to that stability by gravity rather than force. He leads with presence rather than with loudness. He gains respect rather than commanding attention. His leadership becomes more honest, sustainable, and ultimately more powerful as a result. It is effect, without the desire for approval, leadership without ego. Sigma guys stand out in situations when backstabbing, gossip, and clout chasing are commonplace by just acting morally. They never advocate for healthy behavior. They just set an example. Manipulators who rely on widespread acceptance are weakened by this unseen impact. The manipulator's audience starts to dwindle as more people are drawn to the Sigma's sincerity. 7. Their words change the room even though they speak selectively. Words are not wasted by Sigma guys. They make people lean in with their stillness in a world full of oversharing and meaningless chatter. And it matters when they do talk. Their statements are calculated truth bombs, not merely criticism. Even if it means losing their jobs, relationships, or popularity, they don't hesitate to expose injustice, hypocrisy, or manipulation. This is due to their preference for principle over popularity and truth over comfort. People pay attention to the Sigma male because he rarely speaks, not because he yells. And it breaks through the cacophony when he does. His voice becomes the signal in an echoey room. Because truth is the one thing that their games cannot withstand, manipulators detest that. They don't whine or gossip behind others' backs. That behavior is manipulative, and I won't tolerate it, they say precisely instead. These audacious revelations reveal malicious intent. Sigma guys can express what everyone is thinking, but is too scared to express since they don't care about societal acceptance. The manipulator's illusion disintegrates when it is said out loud. 8. They have mysterious emotions that are difficult to interpret. Manipulation is made simple by predictability. Malicious individuals depend on patterns. They must predict your response in order to take advantage of it. However, Sigma males are like emotional smoke. You believe you have them, but they elude you. They keep their emotions to themselves. They don't give too much detail. They also don't react. They are therefore psychologically challenging to map, and even more so, to trap. Manipulators are drawn to emotional triggers. However, those buttons are either hidden away or non-existent when it comes to Sigma guys. Those accustomed to control are unnerved by that mystery. It pushes them into uncharted territory where the male Sigma has the upper hand. It's not a game to be illegible. It serves as defense. It's how Sigma men navigate tumultuous situations without being used like puppets. They will eventually disregard a provocation. The next time, they will face it with composure. They disclose nothing about their personal lives, avoid small talk, and disappear without explanation. Manipulators are kept off balance by this mystery. It also guards against the weaknesses of the Sigma. There is nothing to take advantage of because he doesn't overshare. You get more lost the more you attempt to read him. 9. Instead of external validation, they lead with their own code. An unshakable moral compass is at the heart of every Sigma guy. He doesn't follow fads, peer pressure, or what gets praise. Instead, even when it's controversial or difficult, he follows his inner code, which is a deeply ingrained sense of what is right. The Sigma guy maintains the line while others sacrifice their morals in order to blend in or win favor. Because he cannot be intimidated into silence or bought with approval, manipulators find him annoying. He doesn't look for approval from a group. If necessary, he follows his own route by himself, out of self-respect and discipline, rather than conceit. This lone wolf mentality is about sovereignty, not seclusion. Male Sigmas don't revolt for attention. When the world deviates too much from reality, they resist. And that silent resistance turns into a danger to the existing quo in a culture that is based on pretense and performance. He is incorruptible because of this inner code. He cannot be bought off, flattered, or coerced into betraying you. He doesn't look for social acceptance or approval. He is hence impervious to coercion, peer pressure, and poisonous loyalty tests. Eventually, manipulators come to the conclusion that the Sigma male is untouchable, not because he fights louder, but rather because his identity cannot be taken over. In conclusion, the quiet revolution that overthrows authority. A calm, silent, unyielding opponent is more deadly in a manipulator's world than one with a louder voice. That menace is embodied by Sigma guys. Their emotional control, reason, and silence destroy evil with surgical accuracy rather than violence. They don't use spectacle, drama, or loud noises to fight battles. They just don't follow instructions. They won't respond in a predictable manner. And that makes everyone who tries to control, trick, or influence feel uneasy. By declining to participate in power games, the Sigma male disarms them. These men maintain their composure in a society when emotional instability and overexposure are the norm. They succeed by staying self-aware, grounded, and independent of other people's approval. Although this modest revolution isn't ostentatious or loud, it has the strength to overthrow the poisonous structures that others mindlessly adhere to. When all is said and done, it is the voice that remains steadfast in truth, clarity, and stillness that changes the battlefield, not the loudest one. The Sigma male's stillness is a rebellion in a noisy world. He encourages individuals to recover their strength, challenge fictitious authority, and revolt against toxic control by doing so. Do you agree with this video's points? Leave a comment below with your ideas and experiences. Additionally, be sure to watch our other films if you'd like to learn more about the psychology of Sigma men. To learn why Sigma guys frequently have no friends and why that may be their greatest strength, click here next. I appreciate you watching. Keep quiet, remain resilient,